Lake Charles city, and finally it's rain. It's like tropical rain with hot water from the sky. And we are heading to the Lafaette, which is the heart of the Creole and Calhoun County in Louisiana. And it's also known as the happiest city in the world. We're going to figure out why.
This oak tree is 500 years old. The church that it grows next to is supporting it and helping it grow and preserving it. And this is a miracle, really, because usually oak tree live 150 years. This one is 500 years old. It's amazing. In 1821, the founder of Lafaette, Jean Mouton, donated his site to for the building of this cathedral, and he also donated the lot for a courthouse. And his request for his donation was that the courthouse and the church always face each other, which sounds pretty interesting.
And we just came inside this St. John Cathedral. Now it's service inside. It's so beautiful architecture. Next good attraction if you are traveling through Lafaette is Vermilionville village. So we are going to go inside. It's historical spot.
The exhibit takes about 20 minutes to go through. It's a guided tour. He goes through the ecology of Louisiana, specifically how water relates to our ecology.
Jesus, this is 500 years of history in a small place, and we lost track like almost immediately when we start looking through the rooms. And so, how the story goes?
But this was definitely French, and they started settling in this area at the end of the 17th century. Late 1600s, they started settling in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. But the first settlers here, many of them had to come by way of Canada because they had not found the mouth of the Mississippi yet. So they would come down the Ohio River to the Mississippi, then down all the way to Louisiana.
I see.
And that's the way they got here.
And that's the white was grown as a cash crop. And it just gets the fibers going all in the same direction. And it takes about a year to make a shirt or a pair of pants. It's time consuming.
How long does it take?
A year. They just didn't have time to come and sit and spin all day long. So that's why it takes a year. They would spin a couple of hours a day at the most. So what I'm gonna do is put the two ends together. And it just grabs on. It's gonna make a liar out of me. It grabs on to one another like Velcro does. If you watch the fluff right here, you see how it's twisting?
Mm-hmm.
All I'm gonna do is pull it back a little bit at a time, and it thins it out, so it'll get the threads thinner.
In 1840, it's all done by hand. There's no textile factory in the South yet, so the material, thread, pins, and needles are being imported from Europe or up north to your mercantile store. The original purchase was to buy those things to make a garment for a special occasion for someone in the home.
Mm-hmm.
And the scraps, they didn't throw anything away back then, so
Right.
the scraps went to the quilt, which gave them the name patchwork.
This village is very cool and authentic, and with so many interesting houses.
Yeah, and when we get in, they said bonjour. And when we met locals, they say, "Are you French?" That's the first question they ask. Which is pretty cool.
And they tell us just be careful because it might be crocodiles.
Oh yeah,
And they
they told us about crocodiles. We didn't see any yet.
yeah. Hi, we have arrived to the capital of Louisiana state, and behind the
Old capital.
old capital. So it's behind of us, and it's located in Baton Rouge, which is the capital of the Louisiana state. Right?
That's right.
And
Yeah.
now
Currently, it's a museum of politics, which we are not planning to visit. We are going to the river.
and look at this beautiful tree behind of me. have arrived to our next destination, which calls Oak Tree Plantation. This is the biggest plantation in this area, and behind of me is a beautiful alley heading to the mansion, the main big house. So we're going to explore this area and this plantation. This is absolutely beautiful place with the old oaks. There is the river over there, Mississippi, and there is the mansion over there. Beautiful. Good evening from New Orleans. This is French quarters behind of us, and if you can hear, there is a jazz playing. It's Mississippi River in front of me, so life is bowling everywhere. So it's very historic place, very interesting. Going to spend our evening in a French quarter. Good morning. Today is the 8th day of our road trip, and also today is my birthday. And I am walking in a New Orleans, French Quarters, and I'm thinking what may be better than celebrate a birthday in a new place, exploring new people, places, landscapes, cities. I think it's the best. Okay, we came to the famous Café del Mundo in New Orleans, French Quarters. See that huge line, but it moves fast. And we're going to try famous breakfast croissant in here.
Napkin holder. There's a menu. So you have few minutes, actually a minute or two, when you sit down to read this through, memorize it, and make your selection. That's about it. The line goes the whole block behind this cafe. Okay, so the locals knows a little secret, or they have one of the unusual custom that they have to wear $1 on their birthday. Just pin it to your shirt, walk around, and people will tell you happy birthday and give you $1 if they want, which is pretty amazing. I mean, I think that
I already got one.
we already got $1.
Looking for more and more. Our journey has come to the end. In 8 days, we drove about 2,000 miles. We drove all over Texas from west to east. We visited Mexico twice, and we drove to the historic sites of Louisiana. Of the 50 states, we have already covered 16, and new adventures to come.